All right, people. It's your boy Chid from Gooner Eagle Eye coming to you very, very, very late. Not only a day late, but I'm actually currently recording this about 25 to midnight on Thursday, the 20th of October. First things first, sorry I am coming to you so late. To be perfectly honest, let me take a swig of water while I do this. Hold on. The reason why I'm coming to you so late is because it was my mate's birthday. So we decided to have a burger night, just as you do. And not that they're contributing anything to this goddamn channel, but just a quick shout out to Stokey's in Stoke Newington. Very, very nice burger outlet. Even if we were having a lively debate, which I will talk to you about during the show. But yeah, it was a good night out and enjoyable time with the boys. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Second of all, big shout out to Liam from Gooner News TV. Unexpectedly invited me on yesterday to do his live stream with Colin and Tops. So it was nice to meet those guys as well, finally as well. So I was able to do a little bit of, not very well, admittedly, I was too engrossed in the game, but I was able to do a bit of live commentary with them. So that was a good experience. I've never done that before. So yeah, it was really unexpected, but it was good. It was good. Definitely good. So yeah. So thank you, Liam. I hope to join you again. And onwards and upwards to the game. And wow, what a game it was last night. Still haven't come down from it. It was such a weird game because, yeah, all right, we won 6-0. This will sound stupid, but I still feel like we weren't even in top gear. Well, at least for most of the game, I don't think we were in top gear. I think towards the end of the game, I think we just thought, fuck it. Let's just go for it. It was such an unusual game. The way the game kind of started, I felt like we started pretty well in the first 5-10 minutes. Then faded off a little bit. Probably for about, I'll say for about 15 minutes, we just faded off a little bit. And then Santi just hit a delicious goal. Basically just chipped it over. Just go and watch it. If you're not seeing it, go and watch it. Basically just chips it over the keeper from the edge of the penalty area. It was a fantastic goal. Then I want to say that settled us down, but it didn't really. If anything, they just started carving us open, and they had this really fast striker that just kept causing us so many problems. In my view, he just kept running. I mean, Coquelin was doing well, but for me, I think he missed someone next to him because I don't know what Santi was doing defensively. He was missing yesterday. My man literally time after time just kept slicing through our team. I don't know what was happening. No, there was this chance. So Ott started, which I'll go into in a bit, and there was this opportunity. I was cursing Otta's name. Basically, he came in from the left-hand side. All this guy had to do, I shit you not, Theo's movement last night, best I've seen Theo move. Just his movement. I tell you, when he plays with confidence, it's unbelievable. His movement last night was fantastic. And he was causing their defense problems all day. Now, don't get me wrong, was guilty of missing a couple of chances himself. There's one in particular where he was basically through on goal and decided to have a long-range shot. It was a bit of a weird decision, which the keeper comfortably saved. But there was one opportunity where basically Ox was through on goal. Just hit a 5-yard pass, and Theo slides it in. And he managed to cock it up, and I was just like, oh, what? And yet you're moaning that you want to be starting in the team. You can't make a 5-yard pass. I was cursing his name. And then Theo, right before he scored, missed one gilt-edged chance. I couldn't believe what I was watching. at times it was a difficult game to just sit there and put up with. And then Theo hit what I can only describe, and I said it on Twitter, what I can only describe as a shut up strike. Almost as though he heard me cursing his name out for fuck this. Bow! Hit one long range shot. Flew in so quickly the keeper didn't know what to do. Didn't know, dived after it, but had no chance. No chance. It was one of the best clean strikes I've ever seen Theo Walcott hit. Fantastic goal. We scored some really good goals yesterday. I ain't gonna lie. Some really good goals. And then it was 2-0 and then it was half time. And you kind of had this kind of, we're 2-0 up, but I'm not really sure why. Like I even actually said at one point, which is going to sound stupid now, if you go back and watch the feed on Liam's channel. I even said at one point, particularly into the second half, because we scored pretty quickly in the second half. So the second half started, and Ox immediately scored. I actually said, I think I said it at 2-0 or I said it at 3-0, one of the two. I actually felt like the scoreline flattered us a little bit because it didn't feel like we were playing that well. But then I think Ox scored, and then clearly Wenger had said something to them at halftime because they came out like a team possessed. They were not messing around. I don't know what he said, but it seemed to work. Where all of a sudden, Ozil, who hadn't had a bad first half, to be fair, I actually think he had an assist in the first half, decided, forget this German assistant thing, I'm going to be a German striker, and decided to bang in 3 goals. It was brilliant. It was fantastic stuff. It was just a really, really good performance. Ian Perez came on. Perez, I thought, played really well in his cameo. Anyway, let me go into it. Let me do the ratings. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So, player ratings. So, Ospina was in goal. I thought Ospina played well. Had made a couple of really smart saves that I felt like it bought us some time, particularly when we were going through a 15-minute spell in the first half where it seemed like the ball just kept coming back towards our goal. And we weren't really sure how that was happening. But yeah, he made a couple of really decent saves. Saves you would expect him to make, don't get me wrong, but good saves nonetheless. I think he's a great number 2. I would give him a 7 out of 10. I thought Bellerin didn't really particularly do anything particularly memorable. Had a shot on target from what I remember, but aside from that, it wasn't anything particularly memorable about anything they did. But it was solid enough, 6 out of 10. I've seen people mark Mustafi harshly yesterday. I actually thought he did okay. I don't think he did anything particularly wrong. I actually think Koscielny had an error that gave Ludo an opportunity and not Mustafi. And that's why, personally, I'd mark the 2. I'd mark Mustafi a 7 out of 10 and I'd mark Koscielny a 6 out of 10. I thought that was the way the mistake happened and where it went down. Then in a change that I didn't see coming, Gibbs came in for Monreal. I said I didn't see coming. I mentioned it in my preview video. Because I know other people felt like they could see Monreal being rested. And I wasn't so sure that Wenger would be so quick to disperse with Monreal. But fair play, Gibbs came in, I thought did well, to be honest. I thought he made a couple of smart runs. I thought every now and again when he lost the ball, he was able to recover well. And it's nice to have a bit of a... Don't get me wrong, I love Monreal, but what I miss from Gibbs is his pace. It's nice having a pacey left back. And shows some good plays and good touches. And a man who clearly wants his place back. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. In the middle, for me, another inept performance from Santi. Don't know if Wenger's biding time a little bit waiting for Ramsey to come back. He was at the stadium, but he wasn't in the squad. It was a bit disappointing from Santi for me. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Next to him, Coquelin, I thought was fantastic. I really did. I thought he made a couple of really crucial tackles at the right times to stop us being in a lot of deep shit. I do think that they sliced us open a couple of times, but the reason why Ospina didn't make any kind of PSG-esque saves is because of Coquelin, in my opinion. I'd give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he played really well, which should indicate that you should give him higher than a 7, but I'd give him a 7. I think 7 is about right. Did his job and did his job well. On the right-hand side, Theo is killing it. His purple patch is continuing. And the thing that I didn't think was possible is that he seems really consistent. I'm really hopeful that this will lead to something big with Theo. Played really well. I'd give him an 8 out of 10. 8 too high? I'll give him an 8 because he did miss some chances, but I thought his movement caused them problems, and I felt like his goal was fantastic. So yeah, I'll give him an 8. Ox on the left-hand side. So I will talk about Ox and his comments after this game. I thought first half, quite frankly, he was poor. But in the second half, I thought he improved better. He took his goal well. I thought he kept plugging away. I'm still not convinced by him down the left-hand side, but he's doing the job. He's doing what the manager asked him to do. And he's an able deputy for Iwobi. And I thought he did well. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Ozil. I don't know what it would take to get a 10 out of 10 out of me. Ozil ran it close today. I'll give him a 9. 9.5 out of 10. 9 out of 10. No, 9.5. You got a hat trick and an assist. You get a 9.5 from me. He was fantastic yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. It'd be ridiculous to give him any less. And as for Mr. Sanchez, I thought plugged away. His goal was absolutely superb. I thought his movement was good. Definitely a much better performance than at the weekend. I'd be tempted to give Sanchez possibly a 7.5. I'll give him a 7.5. I'll give him a 7.5. Oh, that feels like I'm being mean. I'll give him an 8. 1.6. No, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. I thought he did really well when he was on. And then the subs. So from the subs, you've got to look at someone like El Nene came on. El Nene, I was calling, even on Liam's channel, I was calling for El Nene to come off for Santi pretty early into the second half. I just felt like I didn't like the way they were slicing us in half, particularly with their passes. I just wanted some assurances in that middle. And I just felt like he would give us that. And to be fair, that's exactly what happened. He came on a 57th minute, shored us up for Santi, shored us up. And we looked more solid. If anything, we looked more dangerous when he came on. As weird as that sounds. So I thought he was effective. I thought he did well, and I'd give him a 7 out of 10. Iwobi came on for Sanchez in the 73rd minute. Didn't do anything particularly dramatic. Yeah, does what Iwobi does. Showed some nice touches. Didn't do anything particularly wrong. I don't think had any assists or anything like that. But you know what Iwobi does now. He was always involved in something, and I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Perez, I'd be tempted to give as probably as high as I possibly could for a substitute who doesn't score goals. I'd say a 7.5. The man came on and he looked on it from the moment he came on. He came on the 62nd minute for Theo Walcott. I thought just looked like he really wanted to be out there. He clearly looked like a man who had a point to prove. And it was nice to see, it was nice to see that he was so determined. The irony being he turned into a Spanish assistant for a German striker, Ozil, and assisted him with 2 fabulous assists as well. The first one was the one that impressed me the most because he showed great speed and desire to get there. He used his left foot, pinged it in for Ozil, and Ozil just shows him. Ozil is hit into the ground volleys. Loves them. And that was our 5th goal, I think, that Ozil scored. No, that was the 4th goal that Ozil scored. Tell a lie. That was the 5th goal that Ozil scored. And then the other one was just a simple one that kind of, he was on the right-hand side, he passed it to Ozil, and Ozil just toe-poked it in from about the 18-yard box. It was a lovely strike. It was, all in all, it was a fantastic game. Every part of the team was clicking, everything was working. It was a pleasure to watch in the end. And we were ruthless in that second half. Normally we kind of taper off after the 3rd goal, shore it up, onto the next game. But for once, we went for the jugular, and it was nice to see. It was nice to see that. We're playing really well at the moment. I don't really know what else to add. Really, it feels I don't even really want to add a negative to it. And in a way, you've got to give the manager his due. It worked in the end, and you've got to give him an 8 out of 10 for that. I had my suspicions about Ox on the left, but prior to the game, I felt like it's not his position. I still feel like it's not his position, but he did at least the best job I've seen him do yet on the left-hand side. And I thought his subs were spot on yesterday. Spot on. Would have made any other different subs and done them in any different way. Team is playing well at the moment, and long may it continue. Just things are just clicking at the moment, and long may it continue. So, a lot of people have asked me what I felt about Ox's comments. If you've watched Liam's channel on Gooner TV, you heard me ask the boys what I felt like, essentially what they felt about. Well, I asked Colin specifically what he felt about Ox's comments. So, for those who've been living under a rock and don't know, Ox came out on, I've forgotten what that damn show is. It's usually after Sunday Supplement. Ironically, I record Sunday Supplement, but I don't record the show after with Chris Kamara and that Ben Shepherd guy. I've forgotten what it's called now. But he came on, and they're obviously talking to him about Arsenal and his future, and he came up and said, you know what, that he loves Arsenal, but that he needs more playing time, that he's 24 years old, and he's getting to the point now where he needs to be playing regular football, and that he'll assess his options at the end of the season. And this, as you can imagine, angered a lot of people. A lot of people were kind of just losing their shit. They kind of were, they didn't understand where this is coming from. It just seemed like an unnecessary thing to say. Why would you even say that and distract from what is a good performance? What good performance is Arsenal showing, kind of almost detracting away from that and putting the attention on this instead of what it should be on. And I get that. I do get that. Here's my take on it. I watched something called Ball Street. I imagine if you're a football guy and you listen to a lot of football stuff on YouTube, you would have heard of Ball Street. And if you haven't, go and search it up. Sometimes Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV is on there. And Robbie was actually on this particular, this week's Social Club. They have a segment called Social Club, where they just talk about random subjects. And one of the questions that were asked was an interesting one. They basically asked all the guys, taking form out of it, so it's hard to do, just stripping them back, and they are just the players and their attributes, just taking form out of it. Who would you rather in the team? Would you rather Theo Walcott? Would you rather Oxlade-Chamberlain? And three of them answered Theo Walcott, and one of them answered Oxlade-Chamberlain. Here's my take on it. I've always been more forgiving of Ox than I have been of Theo. I find, and this is a lot of the reason why the guy who picked Ox is going to say, who said the things that I would have said, is that I think Theo is a great athlete. And I think that when he is in a vein of form like this, he is a pretty unstoppable player. You know, there's nothing that scares defenders. Trust me, I grew up a defender. You know, whenever I was playing at school, defender was my choice. If there was one thing I did not like, was pace. Nothing scares defenders more than pace. And the man has abundance of it. My gripe with Theo Walcott is that I don't believe he's a particularly intelligent footballer. Now that sounds strange, given the praise I've heaped on him in the last few games. But if we're taking form out of it, I find that he often doesn't make what I would call the most sensible choices. Now, you might say, what, you're saying Ox does? I think Ox has a better idea of what he wants to do. You know, for me, unlike Theo, he's more prepared to take a player on than Theo is. You know, I've always rated Ox as a player. You know, everybody has that player that they're, for some reason, that they're really defensive of. My one is Theo, is Ox, I should say. Ox is someone who I honestly believe will get it. And for that reason, I feel like he has a better footballing brain. I feel like he has a better understanding. His execution is poor. Don't get me wrong. His execution, particularly in the last 18 months or so, it's just been poor. But I think he's a brave kid. I think he's a kid that I think we need. I think he's a kid that sometimes is direct and no nonsense, which I quite like. And I think, unfortunately for him, I do think he's played out of position. I'm not sure he's this central midfielder that he thinks he is. I don't think he tracks back enough. I don't think I think he has abundance of energy, but I don't think it's as a central midfielder. So one might say, all right, well, is he a number 10? I don't think he's creative enough to be a number 10. So he is a winger. The problem is, do you take a red-hot Theo out? Now, I know what I've just said. I prefer, if you're asking me, who would I rather have in a team? I have one, I sell the other. It would be Ox. He's younger. I think he has more room to develop and learn. And I think we've not seen the best of Ox. I think we're seeing the best of Theo right now. I really do. Theo is a confidence player. Theo is a player that needs a run of games and needs to be playing well over a period of time. We've never had that because inevitably an injury comes. Now, God forbid, and I'm touching wood as I also say this, is that I hope that injury does not come. For once, let's just have a good season out of Theo without some sort of injury happening. Having said that, I think if you strip back form, I think the player who's going to give you the more, not just because he's younger, just because I think he's a better player, honestly, I think it's going to be Ox. I was also disappointed by his comments. The timing of it was just horrible. I felt like it was unnecessary. I feel like you should just keep that sort of type of thing in-house. He's trying to clearly talk to the boss by coming out in such a public forum to say that. I hope he stays. I still believe his future is with Arsenal, and Arsene Wenger has said as much. And the one person that I believe, Ox, if by some miracle he's listening to this, and don't get me wrong, I'm not arrogant enough to actually think he's listening to this, but if by some miracle he's actually listening to this, the one person I would love him to hold as an example is Francis Coquelin. Not just for everything he'd been through prior to getting in the team. So I read an article yesterday, which I tweeted, and it said that Xhaka may be my teammate, but I will fight him tooth and nail for this Arsenal place. That, as a fan and as a manager, let's be real, is what you want to see out of your players. You don't want to see that one of them is basically saying, oh, well, if I don't get playing time, then I might as well go. No, you want to say, listen, you're going to have to pry me out of this club because I'm going to fight you tooth and nail for that slot in that team. And you have to be real here. Let's be real here. I like Xhaka a lot, but Coquelin deserves that place. Let's just call a spade a spade. He deserves that spot. But I'm at the same time, I can understand Ox's point of view. I can understand that he probably feels like, well, realistically, am I going to get past Iwobi? Am I going to get past a Theo? And my question to that and my answer to that would be, well, you never know. Form eventually stops. Form eventually drops. Injuries do happen, particularly when it comes to Arsenal Football Club. You will get your opportunity. I don't understand what is the problem. Just relax. You can't honestly be telling me that you deserve a spot right now. On what evidence? Yeah, you had a good performance against Forest. It wasn't fantastic, but it was good. Yeah, you played really well in the cameo that you had at the weekend against Swansea. All right, fantastic. You played really well in the second half of the Ludo game. What about the first half when you missed a 5-yard pass? These are the things that I wish Ox can change about himself, and just instead of worrying about social media or worrying about the media, why don't you get your head down and show the boss why you should be the number one? Why, before he even thinks about Theo and before he even thinks about Iwobi, who, let's be honest, is a 20-year-old, man shouldn't be ahead of you. Before he even thinks about that name, the name he clears first is Oxlade-Chamberlain in my team. That's what I want to see from him, because I, for one, I'm probably one of the few Arsenal fans that has not lost faith in Ox. That I don't know what's going on there, but it feels like he needs something, anything to just kickstart his career and just get moving. So, for me, do I have a problem with it? I have a problem with it, but more from the point of view that, I don't think the timing was great. I feel like we should be focused on our games and not focused on... We've got enough players where we're worried about their future. The last thing we need to worry about is another. You know? And second of all, I just felt like those type of things should be kept in-house. So yeah, I had a few things wrong with that, with those problems, but I've not yet lost faith in Ox. I still believe he'll do it. Whether he does it for us, I guess, is going to be the next question. Anyway, then kind of moving on to the reason, the reason why I'm late. So as I said, I had a burger night with the boys, and I got into a lively debate with a spud. I don't know. I like him though. He's a good guy, but my gosh, when it came to Spurs, he was speaking a while of nonsense, stuff that was even shocking me about his own players. he literally was sat there, first of all, for about 20 minutes after we've eaten, mind you, talking to me about the reason why Arsenal are nothing and why Spurs is a project on the up and this, that, and the other. Usual deluded Spurs stuff, right? So you're thinking, all right, well, Chris, there's nothing new there. All right, I hear you. But then he then goes on to say some stuff about how he doesn't even really rate or like Harry Kane. I'm like, huh? I was like, yeah. So to tell you the truth, I don't even particularly like him. But he just says that he believes that it's part of an overall project. I'm like, hold up, whoa. Believe me, I do not want to defend no Tottenham player. But the fact that you don't like Harry Kane tells me that I need to check out of this conversation, because otherwise I'm actually going to do something stupid and defend Harry Kane. And I'm not going to do that. I refuse to do that. So anyway, we went on a back and forth. And then I came to the conclusion, and all the boys came to a conclusion that he needs to be on this show. So what I'm going to try and do is reach out to him prior to us playing Spurs, and see if I can get him on, and we'll do some sort of Google Hangout and do a preview or even a review of the game. Because it was a lively debate. I think we were making the others uncomfortable because we were going so back and forth. Like, I kept saying to him, bro, how are you going to be having this conversation? You guys managed to find third place in a 2-horse race. How do you do that? I used up my Gooner Eagle Eye energy on that debate. I really did. He's a good guy, just a deluded Spurs fan. That's all. Good guy, like him a lot. But when it comes to Spurs, me and him should never speak really. But we're going to. It'll be an entertaining watch for you guys. So I'll reach out to him and see if I can get him on the show. Other than that, onwards and upwards, I said in my preview video that I wanted us to focus and to not be complacent, because usually that's our MO. We have a good win and then we get complacent. It didn't happen against Ludo. It could have, because I felt like at times we were playing ridiculously. I should be more ecstatic about winning 6-0, and I am, don't get me wrong. But there was a couple of little scare moments you thought to yourself, I thought we were over these kind of naive defending tactics. But I thought all along we came through it. We were determined. Onwards and upwards to Middlesbrough, who, let's face it, I know they're playing awfully. But that's another game that we don't have the greatest record against. We do, particularly back when Middlesbrough were previously in the Premier League, we used to do stupid stuff like draw with them. Even lost it to them at the Riverside a couple of times. One of their best performers has been Callum Chambers, and he's obviously cup-tied for this game. So I expect us to win, but I will go into more of that in my preview video. Won't completely kill it. That will probably be out sometime tomorrow. And yeah, that's me out. It's 12:10. I need to watch Apprentice and go to bed. I'm working tomorrow. But aside from that, guys, do follow. I hope you like the show. I am thinking about ways to revamp the show. If you do have any ideas, do let me know. Comment, subscribe, tweet at me, follow me on Twitter if you're not doing so already, at Colossal Chig, that's CHIG. Also, if you're watching this video for the first time, please do subscribe. And spread the word, spread the link. Let's grow this thing. And I hope you continue to watch as this thing grows and develops. You probably noticed that my internet's gotten better. They're reluctant to send me fiber before my deal has run out, which is effectively why every now and again it might still jerk a little bit, but it hopefully shouldn't jerk as badly because they've tried to test the line and jiggle about with it. So I'm hoping it works better for you. I've also been using a new mic, which I'm hoping is working better for you as well. But I am going to continue to invest in the show. So just keep a lookout, basically. Patience, people. You know, these things don't happen overnight, but it's nice having a little audience and watching that little audience grow. And it is growing, so that's good. So anyway, people, I'm off rabbit. I'm done rabbiting. I will get off now and get some sleep. Sorry it's been so late. Next week's episode won't be as late. And take care for now, people. I'm out of here. Peace. Up the Arsenal. Bye.